Well folks, it is now time to take a look at Naval Commander and do a review on it because it is one of the classes that has had changes recently. For anyone that is not aware, this is a farming and support class. Overall, I've given this one a high rank A, farming at an S, support at an A, solo at a B and PvP at a C. It's been a while since I got Naval Commander out of the bank and I'm sure glad I did because I really didn't realise quite how good this class is. A couple key points to pick up on it. It is a 4 target farming class, which is really good because we don't have loads of those. Its skill 4 does target 7 friendly players, that is with buffs as well as healing skills. Then skill 5 also applies focus, so you can taunt with this class, however it no longer stuns, which is one of the changes that was kicked in, as well as loads of other debuffs it applies to the enemy that you're fighting throughout as well. If you would like to get the class, it is seasonal, it is over at Join Pirates and you can get it from the Talk Like a Pirate Day shop right there. Sadly it is locked behind a paywall, so 2,000 adventure coins or membership. If you did pick up the legendary naval, you can speak to this chest and pick up just a normal naval commander as well. The forge we will be running at the start is going to be Ravenous, Vim and Lament, and this is going to be for ultras to have a look at this class in support scenarios. It really is good and it can fit into the vast majority of comps if you would like to have Naval Commander in there. In Darius we swapped out that DPSer, in which case it probably would have been Cav, and then the fight pretty much followed the exact same format as you normally would. Time wise it didn't feel slow, it did feel like you could just run Naval as like a soft DPS slash support, but the important thing is it certainly didn't make any of the runs we did worse. You do have to be a little bit careful with your skill 5 depending on how you're deciding to do the various taunts against these bosses in game, as depending how your group is setting up you don't want to be taking the taunt away from someone else. However, having the ability to have a class with an inbuilt taunt that is a decent support, freeing up someone else's pot slots could potentially increase your DPS runs on some of these ultras. The thing I personally find this class struggles with sometimes is mana consumption. You can regen your mana of your auto attack at a rate of 5 per use of the auto, but it is just genuinely sometimes a little bit sluggish. That's more of an issue if you're taking this along soloing. If you had something like Stonecrusher in here, it probably wouldn't even be a problem, but we didn't run Stonecrusher on any of the comps, but it just meant you had to take your time a little bit more with the skills. Sort of similar to the pace you'd be using your Chaos Avenger skills, just this class, Naval, has mana issues. As I said though, it's more than usable and didn't cause me any major hassle. Next up though, we're going to do one more Ultra, which is going to be Ultra Nulgath, because this one plays into yet another mechanic. So as many of you may know who come along and do Ultra Nulgath, you're most likely rotating taunts on Nulgaths. You'll have 2 classes, taunt rotating the boss itself, and then you've also got the blade. In this scenario, I start myself, aka Naval, on the blade, just because that mitigates any issues coming off the skill 5 and stealing other people's taunts. Whether that would cause an issue with this fight, I don't know. It wasn't a risk I was really willing to take, especially as skill 5 is literally just the taunt. I put up all the skills on screen at the end of the video like usual, but just to summarise what 2, 3 and 4 also do support wise. So you'll reduce your enemy's damage resistance by 30%. There's another one on there that reduces your target's outgoing damage by 40% for a single second, and another further reducing outgoing damage by 30%. It falls your heal over time and also increases the haste and outgoing damage for your party as well. Now then, let us flick over to farming, because this really is where this class excels. I never realised quite how good it was at farming. I'm running Ravenous, Vim and Lament at this point in time. I found Ravenous was more effective than using Dauntless, but feel free to play around and see which ones you prefer. Long story short though, you're getting about 11,000 to 12,000 damage a second across 4 targets. That is the crucial thing with this class. It is targeting 4 enemies at once, so if you're going along, especially to maps, it's not as common that you'll find a room where you have to farm 4 or more enemies. That is granted. The DPS output is significant, and I do find it personally to be a really effective farmer. It's also one which you don't have to absolutely spam the heck out of your fingers with. You'll be getting the rapid cooldowns of a Necronomancer for your skills. I do feel that is well offset with the numbers that you are dealing, and that is the same even when you take Forge off as well, which we'll look at in just a moment's time. So I find the survivability of Naval is really good, so even if you're fighting against a group of monsters that maybe deal slightly more damage, then I'm still surviving pretty well. Always, for anyone that does not have access to funky enhancements and you are going in full luck, this is what the base class looks like. Yes, for a non-enhanced class, I think is still more than respectable. Don't forget, as this is also a support, when you are group farming, you're going to be helping everyone else at the same time, so overall the DPS of the group is going to increase. Though this is a farming and support class, and I feel it does both of those really well to a good standard, so it's definitely a class to consider. Shame it's not behind paywall, because otherwise it'd be a great free player class. Now then, let us have a little look at soloing. At this moment in time, we are back on with the Ravenous setup. You'll be thinking to yourself, Goon, it really doesn't look all that bad. Why have you given it a B for solo? Well, that is because the minute we whip Forge off this class, it just is not really worth it. Wrong, it can solo, you will be able to survive battles and get through them. It will just be considerably slower than actually using a proper soloing class. So that's just why you wouldn't want to use it for that particular purpose, or at least that's my opinion on it. And like I say, let us take those Forge off and you can see exactly how that base performs. Me, that's for sure, but at least Naval will keep you alive. So there's something to take away from that. Keep us here at Drakov for a second longer, literally, because to be honest, it doesn't get much more interesting than the numbers you're seeing on screen right now. We head over to PvP, and I really did not enjoy using Naval in PvP. I think if it still had its stun on there, it would have survived a little bit longer, but overall it's not going to match up against the PvP classes that are in game. Just not use it for this purpose and go for something a little bit better if you are someone that likes to go along in that scenario and battle it out with other players. Okie dokes, folks, I'm just going to ping up on screen, as promised, all the skills. If you'd like to have a read of them, they're going in order from 1 to 5. Then just give them a pause and you can see exactly what they do and all the effects that they apply. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. We'll continue on reviewing classes because 1, I quite enjoy it, and 2, there's more to look at, and I believe it is going to be Chaos Slayer up next, and that one has had some significant changes as well. So until next time, have a lovely day.